This is the taking out of all the inside portion. We're going to finish it up, and when we're done here, this is what you're going to take and put in the oven. We like to, for at least 12 hours, have them away from food and water, because your crop here will be filled with food and water and all sorts of bad stuff. We're going to start at the top here, and we're going to cut away a little bit of the skin at the neck so that we can get access to the trachea and the esophagus. What we're trying to do is take out the crop in particular through the neck so that we don't drag it through the body, possibly leaking contents of food into the body. We've exposed one or both of the tubes, the trachea and the esophagus, and we're just sort of using our fingers to work them away from the neck, and we're going to end up ripping them out. One of the reasons for doing this is by using a knife in here, we're more likely to break something or cut it off and leave such a short handle that we won't be able to get at it. All right, so I'm just working my fingers around in here, and here is the tube that's attached to the crop right now on mine. And this may have actually been the guy that had food. There is some food in here in the crop, and I'm just trying to work around it, pull it off from the skin, and then we'll detach it all the way just by pulling. And here is the big thing. Right?
Okay.
You can see that. And I've leaked a bit of food, and we're going to rinse that here in just a minute. But basically, we're trying to just rip it out of that body cavity. Once you've got that loosened up, if you want the neck skin, you can keep that long flap here. My wife hates it. Hates that I keep it on there, so I go ahead and cut it off. She's the boss. I leave the neck on there for the rest of this because it makes a nice handle when we're in here trying to get some of the insides out. Alright, now that we've taken out the trachea and esophagus, we're going to go to the feet.
Okay.
They sometimes get in the way while we're trying to fiddle around down here. So basically, we're going to take the feet and bend that knee backwards until it protrudes just a little bit. You're going to take your knife and you're just going to slice in between those two joints.
Right there?
And it's a slice. Don't go with the tip of your knife. A really sharp knife helps here. And really bend it backwards. What you're trying to do is get these white tendons cut. We don't want to cut the joint. We're cutting just the loose tendons, and it's all in the slicing. And you'll free it from the body. Now that we've got the feet off, we're going to go in here to the belly. I pinch the belly and take the knife and sort of slice in towards the belly. All right, what we're trying to do is get this nice hole here. What you don't want to do is keep cutting after you've opened that hole. You're just going to stick a couple fingers in there and just rip the rest of the way. If you'll notice that there's a lot of intestine in there, and if you keep cutting, you might cut some of that, and then you've got chicken poop in your body cavity. Once we're into the body cavity, we're going to take our whole hand and grab a hold of the neck on one side.
Okay.
And we're going to take our other hand, we're going to go up along the rib cage, trying to get our whole hand in this hole. And we're following the top of the rib cage up here with our fingernails, and we're going to go as far in as we can. You're going to feel a big hard lump. It's about the size of a golf ball, and you're going to pull that out. All right, and that's the gizzard that we were grabbing a hold of. Once you get that out, you can reach back in, and here's where I tell people to go for the lungs. They're in the shoulder area back here on both sides, and they're very hard to get out. You've got to use your fingernails and follow the rib cage. Generally speaking, they're really hard to get out. Once we have this stuff out, you're still attached to the body by intestine. All right, this last tube here, it comes out through the vent. This is filled with poop, and what we're trying to do is avoid cutting this.
Okay.
So what we're going to do is sort of pinch the rest of the belly, avoiding the intestine, we're going to cut around the vent, and we're going to take the whole vent out so that if we do squeeze this, the poop might come out here, but it's not pooping into the body. And then we're going to flip them over so that that tail is up in the air. And here's where I was saying if you don't want the tail, you'll just be able to cut up here and sort of cut through the spine. And a little wiggling helps to get you through there. But we're connecting that cut vent to this cut. And normally this goes like gangbusters. You might have to snap a little bit if you're getting hung up, but assuming you've made your cuts right on the other side, this should sort of pull out the whole intestine so that you've got the intestine connected to the vent and the tail in your hand. Now we flip back over and we've left a few things inside here. I've got some testicles, and there will be some kidneys along the back. It's really hard to get the kidneys out. I generally sort of leave them in there. But there will be other various gore, and you just get it as clean as you feel comfortable with. And when you're all done, we'll take it. We'll take it to the dunk and rinse.
Okay.
And then we'll come back and take the neck off, and then we're ready to bag it. Now that we've rinsed it off one last time, you can get a hold of your handle, or neck, as it used to be called. And I just like to sit the bird up and hold on to it. And we're going to take it off by slicing as close as we can down in the shoulder blade area. And I do that on both sides. And then we're going to take it in both hands and just sort of twist it, and it ought to pop loose. We'll tuck it in there and put these back in the cold rinse water.
All right.
While we get bags ready, and if you want to clean organs, you clean organs. And once the organs are ready, we'll rinse them, put them in the bag with the chickens.
Tom, thank you so much for walking us through processing a chicken. Now we have a great chicken dinner to take home.
Great.